Carlos Alcaraz is the brightest star of tennis's new era. A Grand Slam champion, the youngest man to reach world number 1, and a player whose charisma has captured millions of fans around the world. But behind the speed, the power, and the fame, there's someone who rarely steps into the spotlight. His mother, Virginia. She isn't a coach, she isn't a strategist, she isn't in headlines. But her quiet influence is written into every match Carlos plays. As Alcaraz once said, "My family is everything. Without them, I wouldn't be here. My mom keeps me grounded every single day." This is the untold story of the woman behind the champion, the hero behind the headlines. Carlos Alcaraz was born in Palmar, a working-class town in the region of Murcia, Spain. It's a place where neighbors know each other, where children grow up playing football in the streets until the sun goes down, and where family is the heart of daily life. In towns like Palmar, values are passed down not through speeches but through lived traditions: long family lunches on Sundays, helping your parents without being asked, and greeting every neighbor with respect. From the very beginning, Carlos was surrounded by this culture of closeness. His father, also named Carlos, ran a modest tennis academy and placed a racket in his son's hands almost as soon as he could walk. For young Carlos, the tennis court became a playground, and under his father's guidance, his raw talent quickly began to show. But while his father mapped out the path for a potential tennis career, his mother, Virginia, gave her son something just as vital: perspective. Virginia wasn't chasing trophies, rankings, or fame for her child. She wanted her son to grow up kind and humble, regardless of how many matches he won. She understood that success without character is hollow. Carlos himself has said, "My mom doesn't really care if I win or lose. She just tells me to be a good person first, and then a good player." That principle became the foundation of his personality, the reason why even as a teenager, the pressure of being labeled the next Nadal didn't change who he was. In Spain, family isn't just an idea, it's a way of life. Children often live close to their parents even into adulthood. Mealtimes are sacred, and respect for elders is deeply ingrained. Carlos grew up fully immersed in that world. Virginia was at the center of it, ensuring that her son understood his roots even as his talent began to pull him towards something bigger. As tennis began to demand more of his time, Virginia fought to protect his childhood. She wanted him to do well in school, to play outside with his friends, to ride bikes through the neighborhood, to celebrate birthdays at home with cake and laughter instead of spending every weekend traveling to tournaments. Even after long training sessions, she insisted on family dinners, where Carlos sat with his brothers, shared stories from the day, and helped with small chores. It may sound ordinary, but those ordinary moments were extraordinary in shaping him. They reminded Carlos that he wasn't just a rising athlete. He was part of a family with responsibilities, traditions, and love that mattered more than any trophy. In interviews, Carlos has admitted, "I missed a lot of things because of tennis, but my mom always reminded me that family comes first. Even now, I try to carry that." That balance, between chasing dreams and holding on to normalcy, is what kept him grounded. Child prodigies often lose their sense of self, but Virginia made sure her son grew up not only as a champion on court, but also as a kind young man off it. Sacrifices no one saw. Professional tennis is glamorous at the top, but the road to get there is brutally expensive. Flights, hotels, coaching, equipment. It's a heavy financial burden for any family. The Alcaraz family didn't have endless resources. They had to stretch every euro to make the dream possible. And while Carlos's father managed the tennis logistics, Virginia carried the emotional weight of those sacrifices. She kept the household running, raised Carlos's brothers, and provided the comm center in a storm of uncertainty. Carlos himself admitted, "My parents sacrificed more than anyone. They gave me everything even when they didn't have much. My mom especially, she always made sure I felt loved, even when things were difficult." Imagine the pressure. You're a teenager chasing a dream, while your parents are quietly worrying about bills, schedules, and what happens if the dream doesn't work out. But Virginia never let Carlos feel that weight. To him, she was simply mom, the steady, patient, encouraging presence who kept him focused on enjoying the game. Fame arrives, staying grounded. As Carlos rose through the junior ranks and then burst onto the professional stage, fame came fast. Headlines called him the next Nadal. Brands lined up to sign him. Reporters swarmed every press room he entered. For many teenagers, that kind of attention could be overwhelming. But Virginia's voice was always in his ear. She reminded him that no matter how big the stage, humility was non-negotiable. Carlos explained it simply: when I win, my mom tells me not to get too high. When I lose, she tells me not to get too low. She makes sure I stay balanced. That's why today, Carlos isn't just admired for his powerful forehand or incredible speed, he's admired for his respect, his sportsmanship, and his authenticity. Traits that don't come from coaches. They come from home. The hidden struggles. Behind the glamour of the ATP Tour are struggles fans rarely see. Weeks away from home, living out of suitcases, the constant stress of wins and losses, the pressure of expectations. Virginia carried much of that emotional load so Carlos could focus on playing. She wasn't obsessed with tennis the way his father was. But that was her strength. She reminded Carlos that his worth wasn't tied to trophies. In one interview, Carlos shared, "My mom doesn't love tennis the way my dad does, but she loves me. She reminds me there's life outside the court, and that keeps me sane." That balance is rare. Many young players burn out chasing rankings. But Carlos has always said he enjoys tennis, not just tolerates it. That joy is rooted in his mom's perspective, reminding him that he is more than a player, he is a son, a brother, and a human being. A mother's pride. Whenever Carlos wins, his gratitude is immediate. At the US Open, at Wimbledon, at Masters events, he thanks his family. At Wimbledon, after defeating Novak Djokovic in one of the greatest finals of recent memory, he said, "This victory is not just mine, it's my family's. My mom, my dad, my brothers, they gave me everything." His father may be the visible architect of his career, but Virginia is the silent strength. She rarely speaks publicly, but her presence is felt in every word Carlos says, in every handshake he offers, in the humility that defines his personality. Beyond tennis, what makes Alcaraz unique isn't just his forehand or drop shot. It's his joy. He plays with a smile, he connects with fans, he speaks with humility. And much of that comes from the values his mom instilled. In Spanish culture, mothers often carry the emotional heartbeat of the family. Virginia raised her son with the belief that success means nothing if you aren't kind, respectful, and grateful. That's why Carlos's humility feels genuine. It's not a PR strategy, it's his upbringing. Every time he laughs with fans or comforts a ball kid or thanks his opponent, that's Virginia's teaching shining through. So the next time you see Carlos Alcaraz dominate on court, remember the unseen story. The story of a mother who sacrificed quietly, who reminded her son to stay grounded, who gave him the strength to face pressure with a smile. Because in sports, not all heroes hold trophies. Some hold families together. Virginia Alcaraz may not be on the cover of newspapers, but she is the hero behind the champion. What do you think? Is Alcaraz's humility his secret weapon? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories from the world of tennis.